You know, initially I was going to make some kind of joke about how Ardberg is on some kind of list for what he's trying to do to these kids right here, but honestly, after the context of last chapter, I'm just really sad. Before I open this review of chapter 37 of Fortnite the Apocalypse, please do me a favor, leave your own thoughts on the chapter in the comment section down below, leave a like, and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Now, let's get into it. What's up, guys? I got the pencil, and here we are to read chapter 37. I don't know why, I was about to say 337, but 37 of Fortnite the Apocalypse, which is known as The Cornered. And honestly, pretty much everyone in this chapter really is the cornered in every single way, shape, and form. So let's hop right on into it. So we get to see that Cerenos, that thing got slapped, and by slapped I mean sliced, and by sliced I mean its horn fell off, and by its horn fell off I mean it got sliced off, because that man literally lost the entire horn. And as many of y'all pointed out at this point, the horn of Cerenos is that thing that supposedly contained a goddess all the way back when, underneath the castle of Leonis, way back in season 1. So this is the thing that tried to grant Bon a wish. So I guess these things may actually be able to be used as instruments or something like that. Usually the goddesses were sealed in instruments. That makes me wonder what the supreme deity was sealed in, I'm not gonna lie. But the goddesses usually have like instrument type sealing places, and I'm not sure how old this Cerenos is. It looks like it's fully grown, at least in my mind it seems like it's fully grown, but maybe not, because actually no, that horn is pretty darn big. It is taller than a house, so who knows if that's the full size of the horn. That's pretty crazy. I wonder what goddess was sealed in that, because that sort of got like not retconned, it kind of destroyed by Meliodas in like that season 2.5 thing that they dropped on Netflix. So I'm not sure who was in there, and we'll ever get an answer to that. But it's cool to see it come back. Literally another one. So if Leonis ever needs another one, you know, they could just drop by here, pick it up, like Hauser should have picked up these kids and taken them back to Leonis, considering how important their mission is. But you know, that's not me. We get to see that Singh gives us a more clear explanation. Like, I think Nakaba either heard every single power scaler start foaming at the mouth the moment they heard the word exponential and decided to just wait a minute, tone it back down, and or he decided to just be like, you know what, I actually don't even know what exponential means, so I'm gonna tone it back down to around 10 times, or at least that's what Sin describes it as. Weapons enchanted by magic earn more than just the magic's traits. It doubles or triples the blade's strength and destructive force too. And if the magic is the destroyer type, the weapon can pack nearly 10 times the punch. Now, I guess Percival's magic is a destroyer type, I suppose. I thought it was like, well, I guess if it has destroyer type attributes, it can also pack 10 times the punch. Because I thought Percival's magic was like multiple different things that couldn't really be classified. And hold on, what did Pelgard call? Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, so Pelgard thought it was initially destroyer type by the initial like thing, the initial way that Percival was using it, but no, it's actually hero type magic. So I guess considering hero type magic can be mistaken for other magic, it has the attributes of other magic. So Percival gets a 10 times amp whenever he combines his weapon and magic, which is still pretty darn good. We obviously know there are many other destroyer types back in the original series, or at least ones with destroyer type attributes, so who knows? Y'all can still go out there, just slap a nice juicy 10 on any of those numbers you got, any of those calcs you got from before, slap a weapon on there, give them a stick, and bada bing bada boom, 10 times the destructive force. There we go. That honestly explains a lot. That explains way too much. And as y'all pointed out too, that does go along with King's explanation of like a sacred treasure being like a cup of water. No, like a whole lake compared to what you can scoop in your hands. I think that's a very good comparison. I'm glad Nakaba's showing us that literally, and is giving us actual quantifiable numbers. We sort of just had to roll with that. Like, we couldn't really say anything or distinguish like an actual multiplier, because multipliers would vary between like feats and the characters and stuff like that. It was a whole mess back in the original series to try and figure out stuff like that. So getting concrete numbers here, I appreciate it. I like it very much. But then we also get to see that Percival ain't playing around. Like, after he gets hyped up for being able to do 10 times the damage, he instantly just goes and slices off Cerenos' other horns. He evens them out a little bit. Shout outs to him. And we get to see that Ardberg is sort of just standing there like, oh, well, maybe this isn't my time anymore. Because he, as Percival, but no, before we even get to Ardberg, Percival is out here celebrating like, yes, no one can stop me. I really am the hero type magic. I really am the main character. And Cerenos is like, hold on, buddy. I got you for that one. And then he snatches up Percival in his jaws. And then Ardberg is like, yes, perfect. My dog was going to win the good fight. And he literally ordered, like, Ardberg, bro, I know you're like one of Arthur's knights, and I know 100% you fear the potential that this Knight of the Apocalypse could have, but at the same time, I don't think I don't think it's cool to tear a 16-year-old who looks way younger than 16-year-old to shreds. Like, come on now, Ardberg, chill out, bro. But then it doesn't really matter because Nastians, well, actually, ironically enough, it's likely that Nastians didn't even have to step in. But because we see that Percival like manifest a magic orb around him that Cerenos literally just can't hope to pierce through. And I love how Percival's like, no, I eat other things. I won't be eaten that easily. And he's just chilling there. But once again, Nastian's just like, I remember hyping him up all the way back in like chapter 10, 11, 12-ish, when he hit basically his arc. I remember hyping him up then because I knew like as a support type, he would be super busted with the different poisons. And like so far, Nastians has been super pivotal back to back, arc from arc. He nerfed Ironside, he subdued the dragon. No, he healed the dragon. He's been doing a whole lot. He's been amping people, saving forests. Like, yo, Nastians is a G. He's easy best boy. Hands down. If you have different options, unless it's Pelgard, I won't accept them. Come on now. That's simple math. Simple mathematics. If you don't get Nastians, has to be Pelgard. And if you don't get Pelgard or Nastians, you've got to go. And I'm honestly not sure how concentrated that Misty Rain Belladonna was, but jeez, did it do work. It was like Cerenos is a massive creature, so usually like the bigger they are, the harder it is for like toxins and stuff to affect them. That's why you need like higher dosages of things depending on the creature. But no, Cerenos took one little and then instantly dropped. Like he just passed out so quickly, and that's once again pretty impressive for Nastians. If he can knock out is literally probably like a gigantic elephant, probably bigger than elephant-sized beast, which is a simple quick whiff. Imagine what he can do to a person if he hits them with that. And we've seen him drop people all the time too. That's still kind of crazy to see. Then Percival pops back down, all of his little hymns go away, and yeah, he's perfectly fine. Like this battle was only sort of there for Percival to learn a little bit more about combining magic and weapons and stuff like that. That's it. That's pretty good. But otherwise, it'd be like that when it'd be like that sometimes. He is chilling. But then we get to see that when they are done with Cerenos and go to deal with Ardberg, that man is sprinting. He is out of here. He was not ready for the smoke. And to be fair, I don't blame him. I just saw that little boy with the wing hair absolutely dominate my massive dog-deered beast from the underworld. I would also be like, you know what? It may just be my time to vacate the premises and be gone. Like I'm not even mad at him for that. But then we get to see that Donnie's totally on the verge of, well, battle's over, the bad guy's running away. I didn't really care about the demon because their ale made me feel a little bit weird. Why don't we just keep it pushing? And Percival was like, hold on a second. Wait a minute. Rewind. Pause and delete the tape. We aren't doing that one. We got to make sure that we get everyone back. And the thing is, Artberg is like, that man's speedy. He may not be strong, but he sure is speedy because he got out of there instantaneously because they lost him that quickly. And then we get to see that Ardberg likely went to the Crystal Grotto. Apparently just a grotto of crystals that happens to exist nearby, and the old man just assumes, you know, that's likely their base of operations. It'd be like that when it'd be like that sometimes. That's where they'd be chilling. And he also returns Percival his big old helmet, and that seems pretty cool. There's an interesting thing where it... actually, I wonder if that's a point for later. Like, Anne shoves the helmet hard enough upon his head that like it makes a noticeable cramming sound, like the sound effect is made and everything. There's a whole panel dedicated to that, and I wonder if that's because it's just the importance of the helm being emphasized, and or like what happens later in the chapter when the helm gets too big. But then we get to see that the new mission for the gang is now to go off and rescue Doltromonte and the gang, and I think that's pretty darn cool for Percival to just be ready, like instant round start. He's gonna go out there and do what he needs to do for the sake of his people. Or his boy Doltromonte and his family, essentially. But then we get to see that the old demon man is like, Percival, right? You completely understand that these are some demons, right? Like these aren't your regular average folk. They're the people who ravaged the land in the Holy War 16 years ago. Like they're kind of constructed differently. And the thing is, Percival's like, you know, that is actual factuals, but one, I don't even think I was conceived at that point, so that ain't my problem. And two, I also just see people as people. Just because my dad is a holy knight doesn't mean that I don't want to be one anymore, because I got people like Hauser. Just because Doltromonte is a demon doesn't mean he's like the ones that attack Britannia. Like, Come on now, it's just 1 plus 1 does not equal 2 here. No, I'm kidding. 1 plus 1 does not equal 3 here. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Come on now, this isn't that complicated for me. And I think it's interesting. I don't know. This is it's a framed as such an innocent seed, but what Percival says here, I mean, just because my grandpa was killed by a human like my dad, that doesn't mean I hate all of mankind. That did not sound like something Percival would say. Was anyone else thrown off by that when they first read that? Sound like I hate all of mankind. Why does that feel like foreshadowing? I don't know, because this chapter puts an interesting flip on the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse idea, and I'm not sure which way the coin is flipping. Whether it's flipping in the idea that these 4 knights are, a megamaniacal threat, and or if these 4 knights are hope within the apocalypse. We'll get to that when we get to that. But I think it is cool, even if it is a little bit shoved down our throat, that you can't just don't discriminate, kids. That's what Nakaba is essentially saying. I'm not sure is this a kid's manga? Is this really a kid's manga? Some of the stuff in here is traumatizing. I'm not gonna lie, traumatizing to me, a full-grown adult. But the thing is, I'm not sure if this is a kid's manga. But if it is, I know it's probably being consumed by people of a younger age. That's a good message to send. Don't discriminate. And using a character who is very much a child to convey such an important message that children should know is also very, very good. I'm proud of you, Nakaba. Nice work. Even if it's a little ham-fisted, I still like what you did there, buddy. Nice work. And we see the old man, after hearing that from Percival and seeing his resolve and determination and all the friendship he's accrued over the journey, the old man's like, all right, I won't go solo Ardberg myself, even though I very could likely do it. Go ahead, Percival, I'm counting on you, kid. Then he just sends them off. And the interesting thing is that these two, they have a little extended conversation. By these two, I mean the old man and Sin. They both, while the youngins go rush off to go get to Dolcemonte in the Crystal Grotto, we see that the old man and Sin have this little conversation. And when the old man is like, Percival's a pretty strange kid, Sin is like, nah, he's just a ick. But it makes sense that he's a Knight of the Apocalypse. And then the old man recontextualizes the idea of what that means. A boy prophesies to spread hope across the world, is he? And that's what he says a 4 Knight of the Apocalypse is. And whenever I heard the phrase Knight of the Apocalypse or 4 Knights of the Apocalypse, my mind instantly leapt to probably what everyone else's mind leapt to, the idea of, they're going to be the harbingers of the apocalypse. They're going to bring the apocalypse upon the world and they're going to destroy it all. But actually, could either imply harbinger or hope within. By being a Knight of the Apocalypse, that maybe they're only the 4 of the people who can fight back against the apocalypse. They are the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse, the 4 Knights in it. And that would actually be a really cool flip. I would actually very much appreciate that. Though, while part of me did kind of want to follow this regression of Percival from being this really innocent dude into this super crazy maniacal villain, and we got to see Arthur actually be proven to be a half decent dude, this idea of the 4 Knights being the hope of the darkness is actually very, very interesting. The light within the darkness for any of my Kingdom Hearts fans out there. So I think, a little bit low-key, I'm kind of rock with that. That's kind of neat. That's kind of neat. That's kind of buttery. I like what you're doing there, Nakaba. I like what you're doing there. But then we get to see that they arrive at the Crystal Grotto. And the interesting thing is that not only do these crystals remind me of something that I'll get into in a second, but Sin also seems to recognize that creepy magic force. His, I bet. And the thing is, he says again, and notably, Sin never really interacted with Ardberg. I mean, maybe no. What he never has interacted with Ardberg and sensed Ardberg's magic and been boom. But he has sensed the old man's magic, and Sin is looking skyward whenever he's when he's mentioning that he's looking skyward. And that reminds me of the bird that apparently was surveilling the group all the way back when. And that bird was the old man's bird. So does that mean that Sin senses the old man's magic once again? And he doesn't get specific with his. I feel like that's very poignant. Nakaba, he has a way with words. I'll give him that. But maybe, who knows? That couldn't be anything else. Maybe that's something. Maybe it is just Ardberg, and I'm overthinking it. But then we get to see that they go diving on into the cave. And the interesting thing is, what the cave actually reminds me of is the capital of the dead. Did it remind anyone else of that? The one all the way back in season 1 where we ran into Elaine once they went into the afterlife? straight up, the crystals, the weird, creepy atmosphere, the whole stuff that we see with Ardberg's powers, like that seems to be what this place is about. It's all about the idea of life and stuff like that, and these crystals are signifying the life. But then we see that the gang is kind of just roasting Ardberg. Like, not gonna lie, they were like, wow. Not gonna lie, it'd be like they want to be like that sometimes, but Ardberg was low-key fodder. I feel like I kind of bodied that man. And Percival flat out says, I feel like he was the weakest holy knight I fought so far. And then Anne, someone who's been in, count 'em, 1, including Ardberg, battles with 2 holy knights at this point. At least Percival has some experience. That man ran to Ironside, Pelgard, Talisker, Pelgard again. No, not Pelgard again. Ironside again. A bunch of people, essentially. He ran into a lot of people. So I can give Percival a pass for that. But, and what do you know about military experience? I mean, probably noble, probably raised to do something military-esque. Whatever, I'll let it slide. But geez, they're doing Ardberg dirty. But then Ardberg starts speaking, like, I think telepathically or like through echoes. Because he's like, you know what? Instead of fighting y'all, because I'll admit, I am fodder, I'll just use my magic to defeat you. And then we get to see that we know the protagonist can see where Ardberg is. He's sort of just speaking there wildly and randomly, like his voice is basically coming from everywhere. But he explains that his magic actually takes a little while to kick into effect, and thus it wouldn't have been effective one-on-one. In fact, if he had stayed there and started fighting, they may have been able to defeat him before his magic ever could take effect. And then he decides to let it go, because then we see a reflection of him in one of the crystals. And then just as Percival goes on to say, like, just show yourself off already, let's fight, his helmet collapses on his head, and he feels like the helmet suddenly got bigger on him. And Nastian's also has his whole hat collapsing on his domer. And then we then get to see that Percival has reverted to baby, but somehow he's still, I'm giving him credit, he got strong. I mean, to be fair, babies have insane grip strength. Baby almost ripped my pinky off one time, so I'm not even gonna be mad at them. And this is like toddler Percival too, so you know he was a demon. But he's literally just has the tightest grip on Dragon Handle, and that's Dragon Handle with a blade attached. That man was not letting go. And then we get to see that Donnie is also baby, and Nastians is also baby, and Anne is also baby. Everyone is baby. And you see, like I said, I was just gonna clown on Ardberg for this. I was gonna be like, yo, Ardberg, you trying to get on some list, buddy? Like, what you trying to do here, Ardberg? What you trying to get into? But in actuality, if that dude from the last chapter with the burned baby, or the baby that was like done in by the demon clan, if that was him, and he awoke his magic in Camelot via witnessing that, and his magic has like the ability to like manipulate or revert age and stuff like that, and it's like, I don't know, baby magic or whatever, man, that's sad. Like, I actually just straight up feel bad for him. That's the thing. Like, I wanted to clown on him, but now I can't clown on him, because it's like, man, you really gonna clown on somebody who lost their child and their magic is turning people into kids? Like, I just feel bad. But that's it for the chapter. We end off with our main cast in shock that they're all babies now, and bada bing, bada boom. How are they gonna defeat Ardberg? No idea. But I think, honestly, that may end up, if Sin hasn't been reverted to a puppy, I feel like Sin may take care of it right here, right now. Like, if they can help themselves, which maybe Percival can, who knows? Maybe they're all still strong as heck in base. And who knows, Nastian can probably just knock out Ardberg if worse comes to worse with, like, a quick little poison gas. But in actuality, I'm not sure how they're going to get out of this one, unless Ardberg's magic, gets come undone by some weird external force. This chapter was pretty solid, I'm not going to lie. It seems, I mean, it's like, as good as the implications for the origins of Ardberg's ability, I don't think it gives it like enough points to be a 10 out of 10. That's the only like extreme thing in the chapter. We get a nice little ham-fisted message about don't discriminate, but other than that, the chapter doesn't have much in it that makes me go, wow, woo, way, wee, crazy. So, hey, who knows? Maybe the old man will come step in. We'll see that in next chapter. That's what I think. Please let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is that guy with the pencil, writing off.